group that reads every week, and they pray and ask God's blessing upon their families, upon the church. And she's a woman of prayer, and I admire that, and that's so excellent. She served so faithfully in the life of the church that a few years ago we elected her to be a member of the board of directors of West Angeles Church. And she was so faithful in her attendance and so intense in her focus on the life of the church. Somewhere along the way, she invited her husband to come by and be in church with her. And of course, he decided to do what most of us husbands do, what our wife wanted us to do. And what a blessing he has been. He has blessed our church in so many ways, and recently gave such a gift that brought tears to my eyes and dizziness to my mind. Our church has been so blessed because of his involvement. He's going to share with us on this morning for a few moments, and I'm just overjoyed to introduce Brother Irvin Magic Johnson. Give him a round of applause. Come on, give him. Nice suit, nice suit, nice suit.
Oh man, God is so good. I tell you, he brought us a mighty long way. Jason, that was the perfect song this morning because I remember syrup sandwiches. I remember sleeping in one bed with my 3 other brothers. I remember we had the peanut butter, but we didn't have the jelly. And so when you think about that song, and I was poor, and what God has done for me, right? And 24 years ago, I announced I had HIV, and the first person Cookie said, we got to go see, is Bishop Blake. And he prayed for me, he laid his hands on me, and he has continued to bless us all. And when you think about this church has come a mighty long way as well. As we were driving, we passed the old sanctuary, and now look where we are today, right? Right? So it's a true blessing, and sometimes we forget that we got a pastor and a bishop who is well respected, don't have any problems or troubles, you know. And when we think about it, we are so blessed that we get to see him and hear him, and he teaches us every single Sunday. I travel around the world, and the first thing they all say, I know your bishop. I love your bishop. And the man that we see every Sunday, Bishop Blake, has a vision and had a vision, and now we're executing on that vision. And that's why we're sitting here today. But now he has a vision for us to own our own church. Now, before we clap on that, let's look back. Look what's happening across the street. You got this new rail system coming in. You have shops are going to be built right now, restaurants. That wouldn't have happened without this church. Let's go the other way. Union Bank, brand new bank for us. Got the 99-cent store, on and on and on. All this economic development is happening because of this church. Now, we got a chance to make history. And I'm talking about black history, and that's beautiful because I love making history. You know, I love that. Oh, man. Whether it's business history or sports history, I used to love coming down the middle with the Lakers. And remember, I had them hot pants on back then. Bishop, they were short. But the thing about it is that it took all of us to win those 5 championships that we won with the Lakers, right? Every single member. And so what we're asking you to do is to look deep inside your own self and say, okay, in 2016, we're not talking about this year. We're going to ask you to do something, hopefully, that will allow us in the next 3 to 4 years to pay off the church, pay off the loan. So, first thing we want to do is this. I'm not going to ask you to do something I wouldn't do myself. Remember I started off with God brought us a mighty long way? Who would ever thought 2 kids from Michigan could give the church $2.5 million after growing up both poor? And I saw this woman walking on the Michigan State campus, and she had some jeans on. And I said, ooh, I got to follow that woman, Bishop. I chased her, and it happened to be Cookie. And I married her. But the reason I said this is this. We was going to buy an apartment in New York. And God told me, no, you don't need an apartment. You need to give that money to the church. So we have decided to give $5 million to the church for this rebuild. We gave 2.5. No. That's what we should be doing. So we don't want you to clap for that. That's what we should be doing. Now, that's what we can do. Okay? Now I need you to decide, what can you do? Is that $1,000? Is that $5,000? Is that $10,000? Whatever it is that you can do, $20,000, whatever it is. Now remember, we got 16, 17, 18, and then we want to pay it off in 19. So that gives you 4 whole years. Now, the first thing we want to do, because Bishop is turning 75. Right? And he's still here. And when he was saying that he just buried 8 bishops, man, he's still here. I can't hear you, church. He's still here. Come on, we should all stand for that. He's still here in front of us. So we want to make sure while he's still here, we can pay off this loan and make sure we can give him the keys to this church. So have a seat right quick, and I'm going to be done, because I hate anybody disrupting my Sunday to hear Bishop preach. And so so this is what I need you to do. We got 4 weeks left before he turns 75. So we want to make sure on his 75th birthday weekend that we can raise $1 million. However we can do that. And that's been his goal and dream, and that's what we want to try to accomplish. So let's see if we can do that all together, because we're going to win together. And then last but not least, we're going to hand you, Bishop's going to explain to you, there's going to be a promise letter or whatever it is that we come up with the name of it, where you're, in the next few weeks, you'll say, okay, I'm going to take this home with my husband, or if you're not married, by yourself, and say, okay, in 2016, I can do this. 2017, I can do that. 2018, I can do this. But just think about it. But it gives you about 6 months, okay? So just get it together in 6 months. Decide what you can do. And also, Pastor Blake the second said, don't forget your tithes and the other things you got to do. He reminded me that when I met with him.